You're listening to Pombo and Peter's Picks, the home of your favorite sports betting podcast. Presented by The Daily Goat.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Pombo and Peter's Picks. I'm Jason Pombo, joined as always by Peter Alves. Peter, how we doing?
Good. 2 episodes this week. Hell yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to Jason on the graphic, but not shout out to Jason for spelling preview wrong twice.
I know.
Good communications major you are, but that's all right.
I know. I suck, Peter. You know, the story on that is we joke around with our graphics guy, Matt. And
we're not. I'm not joking this time.
2 weeks ago, when did we have him on? 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, we asked him, I think, his least favorite graphic to make. And he's like, oh, the NBA one. Like, I can't find the players' faces. And he got all mad about it. So we obviously recorded our NBA preview this past week with Noah and Carr. So if you haven't checked that out, please do so. And Matt was like, oh, I can't do it. Sorry, guys. And we thought he was serious. Coming to find out, he was just joking. He was just busting our balls. So I ended up doing it. I think the graphics came out well. I had that stupid spelling error that I tried to fix on my phone at work, and I screwed it up even more. And I was like, oh, trying to fix it. Ugh.
Did look really clean, though. And Matt, again, on the player graphics, at least you're fired.
Yeah, Matt, I think.
But he won't. I don't think he'll have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think I agree. I don't think Matt would have an issue with that. Matt will be back at it for this episode's graphics. But he's questionable for next week. Rumors coming out he might be back on back on a plane to I forgot where he told me he's going.
I don't know. I'll probably get engaged to another girl. We'll get engaged to another girl.
Jesus, Peter is coming for blood.
Hi, Sophie. I know you're listening too. So you never know.
Peter and Matt rivalry. That crap never ends, man. That's like the biggest rivalry in sports.
It's true.
God,
we love each other, but behind the scenes, it's just
it's a lot of beef, a lot of disagreements. I feel like I'm the middleman here, trying to relay messages.
The mediator.
Yeah, the mediator. So if you haven't checked out that episode, it was released on Monday. So this episode, of course, is dropping today, which is Thursday. So the NBA season did start, but check it out. We preview the NBA season. We give our playoff predictions, our finals predictions, our MVP predictions, all that fun stuff. We talk about bowl predictions. It was a good show, and we love having the guys on from Roughing the Basket.
They're that great. Reminds me, I gotta set my basketball lineup.
Yes, yes, we're in a fantasy hoops league, Peter. How do you like your team?
It's pretty good, I guess. I don't know how to get LaMelo Ball because
I know you were disappointed.
Snakes are stupid.
Because
that's
all
right.
More like Jake auto drafted and got him.
Yeah, that's true. He probably want to get taken. He's out like 2 weeks, I think. But
I like my team. I ended up picking. So I'm shocked you didn't say this off the bat, Peter. So I had the first pick of the draft. So of course I had any option.
Well, yeah.
Jokic was statistically the number one ranked player. And any other year I would have picked Nikola Jokic because that's my guy, of course. But I picked Giannis. Spoiler alert, if you didn't listen to the NBA preview, I picked Giannis to win the MVP award. I think he's going to be a front runner for the Defensive Player of the Year award. I think the Bucs are going to the finals. Like, I'm very high in Milwaukee this year. So that's why I picked Giannis over Jokic. And it doesn't sit right with me, but I knew I had to do it or I'd look like a poser if I just picked Jokic, you know?
That's why I picked 3 Philly players. So
yeah, you did. You picked Tobias Harris, right?
I picked Tobias. I picked Maxley, and then I picked James Harden.
Yeah, I wanted Tobias Harris. I was eyeing him in the middle rounds, and you snagged him for me. But there's a couple guys I got like under the radar that I think are going to put up buckets. Like I think Jamal Murray's going to have a good year when he comes back. I think Bradley Beal, despite the fact that Wizards team isn't very good, I think he's going to put up numbers. I got DeJounte Murray, who I was happy about. So we'll see how it all plays out. Are you do you prefer playing fantasy basketball over like fantasy baseball?
No, I love fantasy baseball.
You're a big fantasy.
It's just too long.
Yeah, I haven't played in a long, long time, and it feels like everyone loses interest by like June.
Yeah, when football starts. But
the only way to do a big fantasy baseball league is if you do a big money league. You do like $50, $100 a person, because then you'll have to stay engaged.
Yeah, I'm in a $100 one.
Yeah, so. That's why you can't do one for like $20, $15 a person, because then. Again, summer comes around, people go away, whatever, and baseball, of course, isn't the most exciting sport in the world, so that's what happens.
It's the sport that you actually have to pay attention. It's
on
not
a daily basis.
All luck, I guess. like in
Yeah,
football.
because you can work. Yeah, because you work the waiver wire a ton. Like, especially in injuries, I feel like they're frequent in football, but I feel like they're just as frequent in baseball.
Yeah, in that league, I had 112 ads.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a big amount, man. All right, Peter. Let's talk about Week 6 in the NFL. It was another week that was full of unders, Peter. It's just continuous, right? I just saw a stat from the Action Network. I think the under is now hit 62% of the time, or 60.2%, whatever it is. In prime time, it always hits. It feels like so.
Well, I mean, the
The under,
Broncos are on 4 out of 6 of them, so makes
yeah. Well,
sense.
I mean, yeah. I guess that's way. So before we get into breaking down the games, that was one of my big takeaways. Do you find that a lot of the unders are occurring due to the defense is getting better, or is it the offense is struggling? What do you think? It's a combination of both?
I think it's a little combination of both, but I think it's the offense is struggling. Obviously, Broncos is nowhere to be found. Packers haven't figured it out yet. Bucks haven't figured it out yet. Cardinals. I mean,
Rams?
Hopkins back. Yeah, Rams. And then obviously you have teams like the Bears, the Commanders that can't move the ball as it is, anyways. So it's a little of both.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, it feels like so many offenses have underachieved. We're in a situation right now where Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, right? Three former MVPs, arguably three of the top 10 guys in the NFL right now. And I think they're three quarterbacks in which a lot of people put a lot of money into in 2022, put a lot of stock into. All three of those teams are 3-3 right now, all with underachieving offenses, which is just crazy. I would never in a million years would have guessed that we're at this situation where like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady led offenses are sputtering. And it's not just like an off week. It's happened a lot. So it's odd. I feel like the defenses have gotten better. I also think the coaching in the NFL has taken a dip the last couple of years. I strongly believe that.
I don't think
And
so though, because
oh,
like
I
all
do. I
coaches
think there's some bad
except the
coaches.
top are terrible every single year, anyways.
I think there's some real bad coaches, man. I around the league. I mean, like Nathaniel Hackett, he's as bad as it gets. Like I think he's terrible. Like I think there's a lot of guys that are in over their heads, and I mean, I don't know. It's just a unique circumstance for the NFL, and I also think the lack of playing in the preseason also is a factor because it feels like a lot of these teams just punted on the preseason. The Broncos didn't play a single offensive starters in the preseason.
Yeah, makes
I
sense.
know, like it makes sense now, but at the time, like nobody really blinked. Same thing with the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers barely played, and it's Aaron Rodgers. Don't worry. And all of a sudden, they're sputtering here, and they're 3-3, and they just lost to the Jets at home. Like, I
Hey,
don't know, it's just crazy.
Jets are a wagon. 4-2.
Apparently so.
Are you serious?
We'll get into that game a little bit later. Let's start off with the slog of last Thursday night. Actually,
Stop
let's
picking.
recap our picks. Let's recap
All
our
right,
picks,
yeah.
Peter. And that's probably a good way to start. My Thursday night
Stop
streak
picking
continues.
Thursday night.
I'm going to until I get it right. I don't like to pick them. I have to. Now I'm in a situation where I need to get it right because I'm frustrated. I'm 0-6 on picking Thursday night games. Well, this past week, I had the Bears -1. The Commanders won 12-7. It was the offensive slog. The Bears had an opportunity to win the game at the end, and they came up 1 yard short. That was an L for me. I had the Packers -7.5 as my premium pick. That was an L. That was a big L. I had the Giants +5. That was a W over the Ravens. The Giants won that game outright. And the Giants, who continuously surprise people, got a big win against the Ravens. I was wrong about the Cowboys +4.5. I liked them in that spot against the Eagles. But Cooper Rush did what backup quarterbacks eventually do. He fell back to earth and they had an L. I know they came back at the end, but it just wasn't enough. And then my last L was the Chargers -5. Despite the fact that the Chargers won the game, they did not cover. So, Peter, this is my worst week of the year. I was 1-4, 0-1 in my premium pick, Peter. But silver lining for you. I survived another week for Survivor. I had the Chargers. Moving on.
Hell yeah! Right at the end.
Yep.
So I was 3-2. I lost my premium pick, as you said. Chargers -5. Justin Herbert throwing 57 times, can't even throw one touchdown. Chiefs +2.5, and they lost by 4 with the Bills. Last second interception by Patrick Mahomes. And then I also lost. I won Broncos. Falcons +5. 6-0 versus the spread. Gonna keep riding that. Bengals -2. Jamar Chase actually showed up. It's actually pretty good to see. And then Seahawks +2.5. Won that outright.
Yeah. So Peter, you did a lot better than I did this week. Yeah, but my Thursday night woes absolutely continue. And this week I'm determined to get it right. I feel good. Last week, I didn't feel great. I felt like it was a coin flip kind of game. Both bad teams going into it, and I expected it to be low scoring. If I should have took the under. That's what I should have did, but
You
I
should
did
have took
not.
the under for every single one.
Yeah, right.
That's what
Honestly,
that's what we should do, honestly.
for real. But yeah, that was an L for me. Yeah, you did well, Peter, and I survived another week of Survivor, so I was fortunate for that. So I guess I'll take that. I'll
You got a
absolutely
good
take that.
you got a good Survivor week this week, I think.
I hope so, but hey, you never know. It's Survivor. Things get weird. All right, so let's talk about Week 6 to recap. Like we talked about, the Commanders-Bears. It was last Thursday night's game. A theoretical coin flip, if you want to call it. The Commanders ended up winning 12-7. Commanders moved to 2-4 in the year. The Bears fell to 2-4 in the year. Two offenses that have struggled mightily. Two quarterbacks that, again, haven't played well. Carson Wentz, who got hurt in the game, he's going to miss the next about month and a half. Wentz was 12 of 22 for 99 yards. QBR of 22.3. Justin Fields, 14 of 27, 190 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. So, Peter, do you see any silver lining for either of these teams, or do you think they're both kind of just screwed?
I mean, Justin Fields looked good when he was throwing the ball. There's a lot of open receivers. And on the other side, what they should have done in the first place, Taylor Heineke is supposed to start like 2 to 4 weeks. And I'm pretty sure this is the last time we'll see Carson Wentz probably ever again.
You think Heineke's going to take the job and run with it?
Or Heineke or what's the other guy's name?
Oh, the kid from North Carolina, Sam Howell, Brandon Carr's guy.
Or Sam. Yeah, Sam Howell. I don't think Carson Wentz is ever going to play again. But good to see Brian Robinson.
Got a touchdown.
Yeah, had a touchdown, and obviously came back last week. But good to see that. But I think Washington's not in a good spot, but they're in a better spot with Taylor Heineke or even Sam Howell than Carson Wentz.
Yeah. I talked about it in the offseason. I thought the Commanders were poised to be one of the worst teams in the league. I picked them last in the NFC East. I said under for everything. I don't like this Commanders team. I don't like trying to throw Carson Wentz in the mix. It hasn't necessarily worked out. And tell you what, Taylor Heineke, you say what you want. Carson Wentz is probably, he is more talented than Taylor Heineke, but Taylor Heineke has showed the ability to win games. He's a good locker room guy. He doesn't make mistakes. I think he's going to be a good fit, and I think Washington might win a couple games under Taylor Heineke, so I agree with you on that front. Carson Wentz just does not fit the offense. Feels like he's never been on the same page with a guy like Terry McLaurin, and it just has not ended up well for Washington. I think the whole thing's going to blow up next year. I don't think Ron Rivera is going to make it to 2023. I think we all know the status with the owner. Who knows what's going to happen with him, and I think Carson Wentz is probably out of the fold, so I think it's going to be a complete reboot in Washington next year. If you change gears to Chicago, I don't like the offense Matt Eberflus is running with Justin Fields. I don't think it necessarily fits his skill sets. I'm still not convinced that he's going to be the franchise guy in Chicago. I just need to see more of it. He struggled to me. I'm not saying it's all on him because I think he's surrounded by crap, frankly. Like Darnell Mooney and Montgomery is a
Listen,
back.
if you have
like,
Nikhil Harry on your team and he's starting, it's not good.
Yeah, it's tough. It's absolutely tough. I don't think they put him in the best position to succeed. But I also look at the fact that he's just, I feel like he hasn't elevated enough. And I'm not giving up on Fields yet. Like, I don't think he's a complete bust or anything like that. But if I'm a Bears fan, I'm weary because, I feel like this Bears team's going to end up with 5 wins, 6 wins.
If you're lucky.
And that'll be back-to-back really bad years. And what if he starts off slow again next year? I don't know.
Well, they got to draft a receiver. They got to draft a receiver.
They do. They haven't given him much help. The offensive line is underwhelming. The defense isn't very good. It's a bad roster. Simple as that. And it's why they're both 2-4 teams. And I think they're both going to have top 10 picks. I'd say the Commanders are probably going to have a top 5 pick in the draft this coming year. So I think both teams are kind of in a retooling session. Washington has just elected to not get a franchise quarterback for the last 5 years since the departure of a guy like Kirk Cousins.
And maybe they'll get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud.
Yeah, they've had an opportunity the last couple of years to take advantage of stuff like that, and they haven't. I'd imagine they'd have to at this point. So it's just the quarterback position has not been really good for them. And I talked about it in the offseason. They got Carson Wentz way too early in the offseason. It made no sense. The quarterback market did not develop. Wasn't the draft compensation like a 2nd and 3rd round pick or something?
Yeah, it was
something like that.
3rd that can turn into a 2nd with him playing, which actually I don't think will turn into a 2nd anymore.
Whatever it is, call it a 3rd. You could have got Jimmy Garoppolo for less. You could have got a whole bunch of guys less. Matt Ryan. I even think a guy like trying to think off the top of my head.
Well,
Baker
I mean,
Mayfield
Baker
probably would have
sucks.
been a better option. Yeah.
Baker sucks.
I know he
Broncos
sucks, but
suck.
I think Baker Mayfield probably would have did better than Carson Wentz. Like, I don't like the fit. They gave up too much. It felt like a decision that was rushed. And to me, I don't like it. I personally didn't like it. All right, Peter, let's switch gears to a game that was actually, I guess it was entertaining for one team, not the other. The Jets went into Lambeau Field, defeated the Green Bay Packers. They won 27-10. Green Bay moved to 3-3 on the year, and the Jets moved to 4-2 through the first 6 games. Zach Wilson, 10 of 18, 110 yards. Breece Hall continues to really thrive in that Jets offense. 20 carries, 116 yards, and a touchdown. Other side of things, Aaron Rodgers, he struggled again. 26 of 41, 246 yards, and a touchdown. He was sacked 4 times. The Packers' run game only rushed for 60 yards. Aaron Jones was held to 19 rushing yards on 9 carries. The Green Bay receivers, Robert Tonyan was the leading receiver for 10 catches for 90 yards. But other than that, the Packers' receiving corps did not do well. Also, sidebar, Sauce Gardner walked out of Lambeau Field with the cheese hat on, and Alan Lazard came out and hit him in the back of the head. So that was kind of funny. So, Peter, I'll give you, what do you think? Are the Jets for real?
The Jets kind of are for real. I mean, Zach Wilson didn't throw a touchdown, didn't really do much in the game. But if Breece Hall can obviously run like that, I think he's going to, no pun intended, run away with the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think that's his award to lose, to be honest, because Chris Olave, I don't think is going to catch him anymore. Rip. But their defense is amazing. Sauce Gardner still hasn't given up a touchdown, high school, college, or the NFL, which is absolutely insane. And then obviously the Packers, they can't do anything right. Robert Tonyan's good. Alan Lazard is fine. Just keeps scoring touchdowns, but Aaron Rodgers still needs another receiver. He's missing Devontae Adams, obviously. And them running the ball, I want more Aaron Jones. He's nowhere to be found, to be honest. But I don't know. I feel like that's just a bad team that's going to go out of control, and they're in the outside looking in on the NFL playoffs.
Tell you what, my Vikings pick is looking pretty good.
It is 5-1.
Yeah, they're 5-1. Packers, they have 2-game lead, and they won week 1 against the Packers, so that they have that tiebreaker at the moment. I'm not giving up on the Packers at this point in time, but I will say, very uncharacteristic for an Aaron Rodgers-led team. They're 2-2 at home. They've already lost 2 home games. This was a game that should have been a layup. You're facing a Jets team that, for all intensive purposes, are a young team that Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers should absolutely take advantage of, and they should have won this game 34-14. Like, you would think they would go into Lambeau and they'd get their butts kicked, but that wasn't the case. The Packers were sloppy on both sides of the ball. No run game whatsoever. Rodgers has no confidence in any of his young pass catchers, other than, I would guess, Tonyan and Alan Lazard. Other than that, he doesn't trust a guy like Romeo Doubs. Watson didn't play, but he doesn't trust any of his young guys. They turned the ball over. I think Rodgers fumbled twice. In the Packers special teams, that completely is still an abysmal unit. Even with Rich Bisaccia running the unit, it's still bad. Blocked field goal, like just a mess on special teams all throughout. That was a big reason why the Jets won the game, because the special teams unit for the Packers was awful. The Packers defense has been exposed a lot, and not being able to stop the run, that's a big concern. People said the Packers would have the best defense in the NFL, and it has not lived up to the hype at all.
Yeah, I said they'd be a top 5 defense before.
Yeah, I was right there with you. And it's not happened at all. They've been very bad on both sides of the ball, for being honest. But defensively is a little surprise to me, because I thought at the very least they were going to be able to shut teams out, and that has not happened at all. I think they're ranked as a bottom 3rd defense in the NFL in a lot of categories. I think they're 24th in DVOA. I think yards allowed, they're bottom 3rd, points allowed, bottom 3rd. So it is a bad defense that has some veteran playmakers that should be able to help, and it's not been good for them. Other side of things with the Jets, Zach Wilson, to me, he did not move the needle. Like, I don't think he played extremely well. 10 of 18, 110 yards, like I said. But Breece Hall is for real. I think he's a good running back, like you said. He's probably the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year at this point in time.
Yeah, he's plus 250.
Yeah.
And Damian Pierce is plus 500.
He's definitely had a better year than Pierce. So I think he's probably the favorite, like you said. I still think I'm not fully buying into this Jets team. Not yet. I need to see another week. I know this week they're at Denver, and we'll talk about Denver later. Denver's a mess, but it's in Denver. We'll see how it looks. So the Jets could be 5-2 heading against the Patriots at home.
Now listen,
it's actually shaping up to be a big game.
Yeah, this is the game that I wanted to see. I think the Jets are going to make the playoffs, and they kicked off the Dolphins in my playoff prediction.
That would be crazy. If the Jets ended up making the playoffs, it would be absolutely insane. The 3-0 on the road. They've ended up being a good road team. We'll see if they end up crumbling down the stretch here. But yeah, definitely if you're a Jets over better, you should feel happy. What was it? 6 the total? 6.5?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they're over halfway there, so big. All right, Peter, let's talk about the Zappy fever that we were talking about last week. I don't have Zappy fever even after this game, but we'll get into it. Patriots won 38-15 over the Browns. Bailey Zappy, 24 of 34, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. Devontae Parker had 4 catches, 64 yards. Ramondre Stevenson had 19 carries, 76 yards. The team ran for 98 yards as a whole. Jacoby Brissett, ouch. 21 of 45, 266 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. He was sacked 4 times. And the Browns' running game was never able to get anything going. Nick Chubb was held to 56 yards rushing. Kareem Hunt was held to 12 yards rushing. The Browns fall to 2-4. The Patriots move to 3-3. Patriots string together consecutive victories. And the Browns are a team that are kind of in no man's land right now, of course, without Deshaun Watson. And yeah, not looking good if you're a Cleveland supporter. So, Peter, it feels like your temperature might have went up. So last week you were 98.6. What is your temperature now?
All right, so I don't have Zappy fever, I guess, but assuming that Mac Jones starts versus the Bears, I have no idea what they're going to do. It's Bill Belichick. He said that Mac Jones was questionable going into Sunday, which is an absolute joke. But if Mac Jones plays on Monday versus the Bears and looks not good, I'd put in Zappy.
Your fever would go up. Your fever would go up.
Yeah, I mean, if Mac Jones was in this position, I think he would have still beat the Browns and then obviously still beat the Lions. And then it's just the schedule, to be honest. But
I agree.
It's Zappy looks good.
Tell you what, I wasn't. I told you last week I wasn't impressed by his performance against the Lions. I wasn't at all. I think the Patriots ran the ball really well. The defense played extremely well, of course. They got the ball in short field, and I wasn't impressed. This performance against the Browns, I will admit I was impressed. He made some good reads. He continued to play well in the pocket. He looked poised. It was a good win. However, he did kind of have some open receivers. I should say really open receivers. The Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith play, guys were wide open, completely wide open. But again, I was impressed. They actually expanded the offense a little bit. He was able to throw the ball downfield a little bit. And the run game for the Patriots wasn't as potent as it was last week against the Lions. So I think that was a little bit of a difference. And Zappy had to actually throw the ball well, and he did. He threw for over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. I tip my cap to that. Good performance.
Thornton is
yes,
obviously
Peter,
first week back, but he's going to stretch the field. He can just go.
Our training camp guy. Yes, Tyquan Thornton. Yes, LFG. He looked good. Through his first, tell you what, Peter, through 2 games with Tyquan Thornton, targeted 8 times, 7 catches, 44 yards, 3 carries, 16 yards, 2 total touchdowns. He hasn't missed a beat after missing 6 weeks from a collarbone injury. So my temperature, it feels like your temperature, Peter, you're like 98.8. I think you might have went up 0.2.
Yeah, I mean, on a 10-point scale, I'm probably like 2.5. Obviously, tempered expectations. But if Mac Jones starts on Monday and next week that he struggles versus the Bears, I'm not even saying that he has to lose to the Bears. But
okay.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying. Here's my take on it. I'm still pro Mac. I still think this Bailey Zappy pandemic, whatever you want to call it, is a lot of lunacy. And to me, it feels like, look, Bailey Zappy, it's a fun little story, a short little 4th-round pick from Western Kentucky, beating the Lions and the Browns, 2 of the biggest losing franchises in NFL history. Like, tell you what, like, congrats. Like, kid's done his job. He's done everything the coaches have asked him to do. Like, big W for that. He's exceeded my expectations, Peter. I thought in preseason he wasn't an NFL quarterback. I'm wrong. He is an NFL quarterback, but I'm still not over the mind that he should start over Mac Jones. I still think he is more of a backup quarterback. I feel like he's more of like a Case Keenum, like Matt Flynn. You remember Matt Flynn with Green Bay, and everyone was talking so much hype about him. He got a boatload of money in Seattle, and no one ever heard of him again. So I feel like a lot of it is going to be similar to that. And I'll tell you what, it feels like if Mac Jones had this schedule, the results would have been really similar. And the offense is completely different under Mac Jones and Bailey Zappy. So Doug Kyed, right, or Pro Football Focus, right? He went through the stats, right? These are kind of analytical stats, but you'll get the idea here. So average depth of target, Bailey Zappi, 6.7 yards, Mac Jones, 10.4 yards. So big time throw percentage. Bailey Zappi, a whopping 0.0. Mac Jones, 5.8%. Turnover worthy play percentage, of course, Bailey Zappi hasn't turned the ball over. That's been his calling card. 1.2%. Mac Jones at 5.8%. Play action percentage, right? This is something that I talked about that I wanted the Patriots to do with Mac Jones because that's what he did at Alabama. And it really worked out. Bailey Zappi has had play action 31.6% of the time. Mac Jones has had it 10.8% of the time. Big discrepancy there. And I'll leave you with two more stats here. Then I'll stop talking stupid stats. Screen percentage, Peter. You know how much I like my screens. Speaking of that, you see that Ramondre Stevenson touchdown, 3rd and 10 draw? I saw it. You know, I love that one. Bailey Zappi.
No comment.
Bailey Zappi. He's thrown a screen on 18.4% of his plays. 18.4%. Mac Jones, 6.3%. Deep ball percentage, Bailey Zappi, 8.6%. Mac Jones, 20.6%. Again, all these 5 stats I gave you, to me, it just shows me that the difference in the offense is Mac Jones was pushing the ball downfield more. The offense asked him to do too much, which created the turnovers, which created this disarray. Bailey Zappi, it's been a lot more conservative, and that's kind of why it's been this way. Mac Jones, if Mac Jones is the quarterback that I think he is, Peter, Mac Jones will have no issue against the Bears on Monday night. Business as usual, and Zappy fever, the vaccine should be out by next week.
Hey, it just sounds like to me Zappy's taking whatever the defense can give him, and hats off to Matt Patricia or whoever's running the offense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And look, I'm not trying to crap on Bailey Zappi. I'm really not. I just said he played well against the Bears. Against the Browns. But I think the expectations over a 2.5 game sample size is completely unproportional. What happened to Cooper Rush when he played a real defense this past Sunday? Dude got exposed and almost threw 10 interceptions. And the same thing will eventually happen to him. It's just the way it goes. Now, he's impressed me. He really has. But to have him start over Mac Jones, because Mac Jones had a subpar first 3 games of the season, is lunacy to my mind. Like, it just really is. It's just a lot of bull crap. And now a lot of people are just I don't know, just saying it to say it. It makes no sense to me.
And if you had to guess, what's Bailey Zappi's Rookie of the Year odds?
Oh, that's a good point. I bet she's top 5. I bet she's top 5 in the voting.
He is top 10. He's not top 5.
So what is he, like 7 or 8?
He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he's 8.
Okay.
He's at plus.
You
want to guess?
Well, I wonder what plus 2,000.
Chris Olave, no. Bailey Zappi is plus 1,600.
1,600. Okay, so I was close. Do you think that? I wonder what his odds probably weren't even listed.
No,
like before the season, no shot. Yeah, and I also think, and then I'll stop talking about this Mac Jones Bailey Zappi thing. It just infuriates me. Is for the most part, Bailey Zappi's had a clean pocket. I know this game it got a little bit hairy, but for the most part, he had a clean pocket. And the open receivers have been there. The defense all of a sudden can play defense. It's just a lot of things come together that Mac Jones just did not get the opportunity to have. And it's just, I don't know. It's just
speaking of offensive line, if I see Isaiah win one more time just at all.
Almost got Zappi killed.
Oh, no, he's owed like $10 million, but come on.
Yeah.
Sit his ass down forever.
Have you seen his Pro Football Focus grade?
Oh, it's probably an F.
Scale of 0 to 100. What do you think?
Probably a 0.
It's a 5.0.
Yeah, he's getting killed.
Lowest of like his career and arguably the lowest of like any Patriot lineman in a long, long time. Yeah, he hasn't been good. And Marcus Cannon, I thought he's been a lot better than Isaiah Wynn. But again, like you said, he's owed $10 million, and it feels like there's not many offensive tackles in the NFL. So I think the Patriots should keep him for the sole fact of just depth.
I don't keep him, but
yeah,
it's terrible.
It's an absolute mess over there in terms of Isaiah Wynn, and they could do it all over again. They probably would have declined his 5th-year option. But expect Mac Jones back on Monday, I would think. But if he's not, then I guess right to the Jets, right?
Good luck. He's getting thrown to the Wolves.
Yeah. All right, Peter, let's talk about the Colts-Jaguars game. This was an exciting game. The Colts ended up beating the Jaguars 34-27. The Colts come back from behind victory. Matt Ryan His best game as a Colt. He looked a lot more comfortable than he has been the last month. The Colts without Jonathan Taylor, of course. Matt Ryan was 42 of 58 for 389 yards and 3 touchdowns. Deion Jackson was the leading rusher for the Colts, 12 carries, 42 yards. My guy, Michael Pittman, 13 catches, 134 yards. Alec Pierce, 3 catches, 49 yards. And Deion Jackson, the back I just mentioned, 10 catches for 79 yards. Funny, all of a sudden he is making some real plays. And he was he the fourth string Colts back 3 weeks ago?
Technically
Third or fourth string back?
because I think Philip Lindsay's 4, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I think he is ahead of Lindsay. So, yeah, third string. Other side of things, Trevor Lawrence, he was efficient again, but the Jaguars, of course, lost their third consecutive game. Lawrence was 20 of 22, 165 yards and a touchdown. So, Peter, Jaguars fall to 2-4. Colts moved to 3-2-1. Colts, of course, are now in a better position now in the AFC South. And the Jaguars are in a position which they're kind of free falling here, losing 3 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, this is what the Jaguars expected to be, just a middling team. The 1 year too early. Trevor Lawrence looks fine. I mean, looks fine running the ball. And then the other side, the Colts. Matt Ryan, as you said, best game as a Colt by far. Everybody was involved, especially with no Jonathan Taylor, Naeem Hines, and them and the Titans for the division. So it's not really it's not really exciting. But
yeah, the Jaguars, who are people were saying Doug Peterson, they were giving him his credit, and all of a sudden he's lost 3 in a row. So we'll see if they can rebound. They have a tough game too. They're at home against the Giants, so we'll see how that one goes. All right, Peter, another game I want to talk about is the Giants. Giants ended up beating the Ravens 24-20. Giants overcame a 10-point deficit to move to 5-1 on the year. Imagine having that in your bingo card. New York Giants 5-1. Brian Daboll, just give him the Coach of the Year award now. Daniel Jones 19 of 27 for 2 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley continued his dominance, 22 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown. Other side of things, the Ravens, like I said, blew another lead. They fall to 3-3, and the Ravens could easily be 6-0, and they're 3-3 right now, really bad. Lamar Jackson, 17 of 32, 210 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Kenyon Drake, he kind of blew up on the scene, 10 carries, 119 yards, and a touchdown. Lamar Jackson also had 7 carries for 77 yards. Mark Andrews was the leading receiver for the Ravens, 7 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown. So, Peter, again, the Ravens are a team I really like. I said they were going to get to the AFC title game. Lamar Jackson was my MVP. And every week they just continue to disappoint me. And I think it's going to get better for them. I feel like there is a disconnect, though, between the players and John Harbaugh. Ever since Harbaugh kind of went for it on that 4th down situation against the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, first off, Justin Tucker, you don't have to put on Twitter, I'm sorry, I missed that field goal. You're fine. I mean, you hit every field goal that you want. Everybody has mistakes. But Ravens just can't finish. Simple as that. I mean, all they do is score in the first half, and they can't catch up. I don't get it. Lamar Jackson hasn't looked good in 3+ weeks. He hasn't had 2 touchdowns in any game. And on the other side, maybe give Saquon Barkley offensive offensive player of the year. And then Giants 5-1. I think they're gonna run the table until Thanksgiving. They're gonna be real. I think they're gonna be a playoff team for sure. And yeah, they're facing the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, and that's gonna be their first test because they literally faced, I think, the Jaguars and then like the Seahawks and then like the Texans.
Yeah, they know their schedule is cake, and they've had a couple upset wins, especially the comeback from behind wins. So, like I said, shout out to Brian Daboll doing this with like little to no receivers. They've had so many injuries on both sides of the ball, specifically at the receiver position, but it hasn't mattered at all. And like you said, Saquon Barkley, he's a shoe-in to win comeback player of the year. He is going to be in the offensive player of the year discussion. And a lot of people kind of pronounced his career dead after he's kind of been injury riddled for the last 2 years. And he looks like he has a second wind. He's flourishing in this offense. And Daniel Jones, who I was already kind of out on, he's starting to work himself back in terms of being potentially that franchise guy with the Giants. Again, there's still a lot of football left to be played, but the Giants are a team to me that they look like they're going to make the playoffs. Are they a scary out in the playoffs? I would probably say no, but the NFL is wide open to me. I feel like there's so many teams that are underachieving that we overrated. Not so much in the NFC, but specifically in the AFC. There's just a lot of overrated teams, so that gives the Giants an opportunity. The only issue the Giants have going for them is there are 2 teams that are really Vying for the NFC East are pretty good teams. The Dallas Cowboys, of course, and the Eagles. The Eagles have not lost a game yet, and Dallas is what now? They are
4-2.
4-2, right? Yeah. So the Giants really don't have too much room for error in terms of
And
trying to compete.
well, I mean, everybody else is 3-3.
Yeah,
For
I mean for
wild
like the
card spot,
division.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're looking good for a wild card spot. So we'll see if they're going to be able to keep it going. But it's been a real interesting ride for this Giants team. I didn't expect that. That's for sure.
Yeah, Barkley is minus 225. Can you guess number 2? It's not
For a
Derrick
comeback
Henry.
player of the year?
Yeah.
Don't tell me. Give me a second. I'm going to go with.
He is plus 550.
Can you give me the position?
No.
Okay. So that means it's got to be. I don't know, Peter. I'm lost. Who?
NFC Bird.
NFC
Geno
Bird.
Smith.
Oh, yeah, duh. Of course, Geno Smith. Duh. Yeah. Easy. You're right. 100%.
And then McCaffrey at plus 1,000. But
yeah,
Barkley should win that.
Yeah, I would if I were. What's Geno's odds?
Plus 550. And Barkley, and then McCaffrey's plus 1,000.
I do think there's some good odds on Geno if Barkley goes down or something like that. I feel like that's good as like a backup plan. I like that.
And then after that, it's Marcus Mariota plus 3,000.
That's who I was thinking was Mariota. That's who I was gonna say, but I wasn't exactly sure because Mariota he hasn't necessarily lit up the scoreboard recently.
Hey, 6-0 versus the spread. What do they say? Right. Good teams win, but great teams cover or something.
That's what they say. Yeah, don't matter if you're 3-3. Yeah, what are they 3-3 now?
Yeah,
you're 6-0 against the spread. All right, Peter. Let's talk about a team that the Falcons did lose to last week, but they did cover. The Tampa Bay Bucs, who went to formerly Heinz Field. I don't even know what's it called now. I don't even know.
I have no idea.
Whatever it is, formerly Heinz Field, take on a struggling Pittsburgh Steelers team who were coming into the game with one win. Mike Tomlin was being questioned pretty heavily, and the Steelers, it just looked like they were going to kind of go into a free fall. But the Steelers won. They won 20-18 over Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucs. Kenny Pickett went out for an injury, and Mitch Trubisky, he came in and he fired. He was 9-12, 144 yards and a touchdown. Najee Harris, he finally scored a touchdown. It wasn't a rushing touchdown. It was a receiving touchdown. But, hey, it still counts, Peter. It counts for all the Najee Harris owners. So the Steelers scoring 20 points to win. Tom Brady, other side of things, 25 of 40, 243 yards and a touchdown. Leonard Fournette was held to 63 rushing yards. Your guy, Mike Evans, Peter, was held to 4 catches for 42 yards. Chris Godwin was held to 6 catches, 95 yards. So Pittsburgh moves to 2-4 on the year. And Tom Brady and the Bucs, like we kind of said to start off the show, are 3-3. Are you panicking on Tom Brady and the Bucs?
A little bit. Tom Brady doesn't look like he wants to be there. He's screaming at his offensive line. He's screaming at refs. He's screaming at his coach. Obviously, he doesn't want to be there. I don't know if it's personal, but probably is.
It's a mess down there.
Yeah, it is. They have no O-line. They have no rushing game. Their receiving core is looking pretty healthy. I mean, Chris Godwin, that's 2 weeks in a row, staying healthy. But they look kind of bad. They're tied for division lead with the Falcons, 3-3, as we said earlier. It's absolutely crazy. They should steamroll that division. They probably still will, but it's getting real bad. And the other side, Steelers, they're a Ponzi scheme. Doesn't really matter. 2 wins, the last second versus the Bucs, and the last second versus the Browns. But it is what it is. Najee Harris is probably the worst running back I've ever seen, even though he scored that touchdown.
Do you have him in any leagues? I have him in 1.
I do not.
Oh, I have him in 2.
That O-line was way too bad for me to draft him at all. So.
I have them in our Dynasty League, and then I have them in XFL.
Well, that doesn't really count. Oh, okay. Dynasty League. I'm in 3rd place. Got everybody's picks.
I'm in I think I'm in 5th or 6th. I won this week. I'm 3-3.
Rolling it in.
Good for you, Peter. Yeah, I saw you want a low-end receiver.
Yeah, I have no receivers. They're all in
Really?
bye. And nobody wants to give me like anything.
Maybe we'll talk. Actually, no, I don't want to give up. Get out of here.
I need anybody. Just a body.
You know one on the waiver wire, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
All right, so my take on the Bucs here, Peter. I told you they were going to struggle to start the year. I thought the offensive line was really bad heading into the year. I think there was some questions about Todd Bowles being head coach. And I also think there was some questions at the pass catchers. Other than Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, I was very concerned. And I think that has come to fruition here. There's no Gronk anymore. Maybe Odell Beckham will come through that door, but it hasn't happened yet. And Mike Evans and Godwin both have had injuries this year, and it hasn't looked good for Tom Brady offensively. I don't think it's all on him. I think the offensive line has struggled. The run game has struggled. But it just feels like there's so much dysfunction down there in Tampa Bay. It's just very obvious. And like I told you, Peter, back in August, if Tom Brady could redo it, if he could redo this past winter, he would have stayed retired. I absolutely believe that. That has nothing to do with like his personal life, in my opinion. That's just more playing, because I don't think he wants to play for the Bucs. I think he kind of knew the writing was on the wall last year, and it just feels like he has 1 foot in, 1 foot out this year. It's a mess, and he's in a situation in which it's unfortunate. But like you said, they're gonna win the division. They're gonna go 10-7 and win the division. But I had them in the NFC title game, and tell you
And
what,
them
Peter, if they
winning the
got there, I'd
Super
be
Bowl.
surprised. Oh yeah, you're even more screwed than I am. Rip that ticket up, man.
And then win the Super Bowl, have Tom Brady win MVP.
But again, the MVP one's gonna be tough. It's Tom Brady. You can never rule him out. If he can get, I mean, I don't think he's the issue. I just think it's the people around him. I think there's a lot of players that have not really played up to their expectations. And like I said, I think Todd Bowles, Bruce Arians has a weird dynamic around. Bruce Arians was in the field like a month ago yelling. Like, it's just weird. And I don't know. I'm not necessarily bought in on this Bucs team. And they're lucky they're in a division in which they play quarterbacks like Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, and
Yeah.
and Peter Alves as quarterbacks. Like, it's a real mess. Pittsburgh, big for Mitch Trubisky to come in there and play well, especially after getting benched for Kenny Pickett. We'll see what Mike Tomlin decides to do this coming week. But
God,
I
that
think
was a concussion, right?
yeah.
So
We'll see.
he'll be
I
out
assume he's
for
probably
a
not
week.
cleared. Yeah.
Thanks,
It was a
thanks
big win for
to
Tomlin.
thanks Dolphins, thanks to for messing up the whole
Tua
concussion
concussion
protocol.
rule.
Literally,
Tua
like everybody that
concussion
gets a concussion out next week. It doesn't even matter.
Well, Teddy Bridgewater didn't even get one, and he wasn't allowed to start. But he was the
Oh,
backup.
that's
and he
because of
came
your
in.
stupid coach's fault, Matthew. That's why you lost.
Ah,
Reboot
Matt's probably
yourself.
sitting there
Tua's
like,
coming back too. Rip.
But yeah, Peter, I'm down on the Bucs team. But yeah, Tomlin needed the win, so shout out for Tomlin there. All right, Peter, let's talk about the CBS game of the week. And this was, of course, a rematch of the divisional round last year, Bills Chiefs. It was arguably the most exciting game in the NFL last season. The Bills defeated the Chiefs 24-20. Josh Allen outdueled Mahomes. Josh Allen was 27-40 for 3 touchdowns, 329 yards. Stephon Diggs dominated per usual. 10 catches, 148 yards, and a touchdown. Other side of things, Pat Mahomes, 25-40, 338 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Now, this was a game, I will say, where I think Mahomes missed Tyreek Hill a little bit. The Chiefs fall to 4-2, and the Bills move to 5-1. I think this game is significant in terms of playoff seeding, because I think however you want to slice it, the Bills are going to win the AFC East, and the Chiefs are going to win the AFC West. The AFC is either going to go through Kansas City or Buffalo. It's just a matter of which one, and Buffalo has the leg up on that right now, and I think Buffalo looked like the better team in Week 6.
Listen, let's pump the brakes. Bills haven't faced the Patriots or the Jets yet.
Or the Jets, yeah. You're right.
But nah, I'm being facetious. They'll definitely win the AFC East. But yeah, you'll see them in the AFC Championship game, I think. Obviously, the Chiefs didn't get it done, but the Chiefs didn't get it done last regular season, and they whipped them in the playoffs. So there's nothing really to say. They really, I mean, they kind of missed Tyreek Hill, I guess. Juju Smith-Schuster went off, didn't he, though? Like 100.
I think 5 catches, 115 yards. Like, I think the Chiefs offense doesn't need Tyreek Hill to succeed. They've showed that. They're 4-2. But I do think when you're kind of going toe-to-toe against a guy like Josh Allen in this dynamic Bills offense that can score in a matter of seconds, I think having that option, that Tyreek Hill option, is important. I think it gives you a leg up. So I think that makes life a little bit more difficult for Mahomes. Can he overcome it? I think he will. I picked the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl and win it. I'm going to stand by it. So I just think ultimately this game came to a situation in which the Bills' offense was more dynamic. That was simply as that. The game was more low scoring than I anticipated. It was a defensive battle of the first, quarter and a half, 2 quarters.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that was a
unique.
good game, no matter what, anyway.
Yeah,
Probably the best game on the schedule.
Oh, yeah, and it was disappointing that I feel like I mean, I don't want to say disappointing, but I wish it was towards the end of the year. I think it would have been more. It would have meant more, especially for playoff seeding. All right, Peter, let's talk about the Sunday night football game this week. The Eagles hosted the Dallas Cowboys, and the Eagles Moved to 6-0. They defeated the Cowboys 26-17. Jalen Hurts was 15 of 25 for 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 4 times. Miles Sanders, he continued to play half decent, man. 18 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, they totaled for 10 receptions and 104 receiving yards. Other side of things, Cooper Rush came back down to earth, Peter, just like backup quarterbacks do. Cooper Rush, 18 of 38, 181 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. He could have thrown 6 interceptions, if I'm being honest. Zeke Elliott had 13 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb had 5 catches for 68 yards. Cowboys fall to 4-2. Eagles moved to 6-0. So, Peter, are the Eagles the best team in the NFL right now?
No, because the Bills and the Chiefs still exist, but they might be in the NFC because
I think, yeah, I agree with
6-0, 6-0. I think they're going to steamroll all the way. I don't even know. Probably the Packers, I guess. That's their next
that's their next tough
challenge. Yeah, Texans, Commanders, Colts, Packers, I guess. Oh, that's Sunday Night Football. But on the other side, hats off to Cooper Rush, making a ton of money, even though that he didn't get it done. 5-1 when he was starting.
He did his job.
Yeah, and I mean, it's Dak's job, I guess, nowadays, if he can come back. Please come back because I'm not starting Russell Wilson ever again. So
Dak I think he is going to play this week against Detroit. So, yeah, tell you what, Cooper Rush did as well as he could have. He had some big wins against the Bengals. He played well in all his starts up until this one. But once you face an elite defense and push comes to shove, your true colors come out as a quarterback. And that's why you need guys. They're difference makers. And Cooper Rush is a backup quarterback / fringe starter in the league. It's as simple as that. Is he going to go next year to compete for a starting job in some
he'll be on the Colts
crap bag organization? Probably. But
he'll be on the Colts next year. Watch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't rule something like that, like the Marcus Mariota thing in Atlanta as like a bridge, I like kind of just holding the position down for a little bit. Yeah, I could see that happening. But yeah, like he did enough in these 5 starts. So absolutely. All right, P, let's talk about your favorite team, the Denver Broncos, the Monday Night Football game. The Chargers ended up beating your Denver Broncos 19-16. This game, tell you what, another slog. The Chargers kicked the game-winning field goal in overtime to win. Justin Herbert, like you said, he threw the ball 57 times for a grand total of 0 touchdown passes, Peter. Do you know DraftKings? I think it was DraftKings. They were boosting.
Yeah, they had it minus
touchdown.
500, and then they boosted it plus 100, and it still didn't hit.
Yep, and tell you what, Peter, Herbert, that was his 37th start. He's thrown a touchdown pass in 35 of them. 31 consecutive. That's tough. And Austin Eckler, he played well in this game. He had 10 catches for 47 yards. He also had a touchdown on the ground, 14 carries, 36 yards. The Chargers continued to miss a guy like Keenan Allen. Josh Palmer was their leading receiver in terms of actually wide receivers, 9 catches for 57 yards on 12 targets. So, you look at this Chargers team, they moved to 4-2 in the year. They needed this game, man. They needed it. And the Broncos, other side of things, they fall to 2-4. They're now 0-3 on the road. Peter, your guy, Russell Wilson, 15 of 28, 188 yards and a touchdown. He was sacked 4 times. Leading receiver was Jerry Jeudy, 3 catches for 54 yards. Peter, the Broncos, they had it. They had this game, man. They were up 10-0 in the first quarter. They were up at halftime as well, 13-10. They were in control in the first half, and they weren't able to close. They had 2 possessions in overtime. I believe they had 2 possessions in overtime. At least one. They had 2 opportunities late in the fourth quarter to put the offense in a position to succeed. They didn't. And I already told you 2 weeks ago, Nathaniel Hackett is a dead man walking. And that is going to come to fruition in like 2 months. But yeah, Peter. So let it rip on your Denver Broncos.
All right, let's get it one thing straight. It's not my Denver Broncos. I picked them last in the division anyway, so get that out of your mouth.
How about Russell? He's your Russell Wilson. He's your quarterback.
I was big on Russell.
That's
Wilson.
fine. I have him.
I low key thought he was gonna win MVP, but that's obviously not. Yeah, I have that ticket roaming around somewhere. But yeah, Broncos look lost. Their offense is terrible. Their defense is top 5 in the league. And Nathaniel Hackett, you know how to actually coach a defense, I guess. But as you said, you better get fired by the end of the year. If he doesn't, yikes.
Oh no, he is.
Folks, we're almost at the end. Obviously, they don't play in prime time this week. They play in prime time next week. If you can count the London game, and then we're out of the clear. So
I don't count the London game. I think the next true primetime game is week 14.
Yeah, December 11th. We're in the clear at 4 out of the first 6 games in prime time. Oh my God, get them off of my screen. I'm never watching a Broncos game until the London game, I think. And
I
then the
don't
other side, yeah, and the
I don't
other
mean to
side,
interrupt you.
Chargers.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Peter. I'm just going to interrupt you for half a second. I don't blame the NFL for scheduling it this way. On
No,
paper,
I don't
this
either.
team should have been good. But yeah, continue.
I don't either. I don't either. But Roger Goodell, you suck. And then the other side, the Chargers. Chargers team doctor should be fired, or Brandon Staley should be fired because what are you doing trying out your kicker after you clearly got hurt after the first quarter? Even though you kicked 4 field goals, I think, whatever it was, and including the game winner, he's out 2 to 4 weeks now.
Yep,
Obviously, it wasn't right. And then, yeah, but good on the Chargers. Keep pace with the Chiefs. They look pretty good.
Yeah, the Chargers, I'm still not sold on them. I still don't think their offense is as good as I anticipated it would. Herbert, I still think it's due to that rib injury. I think that's why he has struggled at times. Also, sidebar, J.C. Jackson, who got benched yesterday, real bad.
Oh, he looks terrible.
He got torched.
That might be a Bill Belichick W.
That was a predictable W in my opinion, though. I don't know. He got hurt in training camp.
That's a predictable W because of all the money he wanted.
That's what I'm saying. I agree. That was a predictable outcome because I think he's the 6th highest paid cornerback in the game now. He missed the first couple games of the year with an ankle injury. He started off slow and he outright got benched for a couple series last night on Monday night. So look, that contract does not look great if you're the Chargers here. But other side of things, like I didn't really learn anything about the Broncos. I did think through the first quarter, the offense looked competent. I was like, oh, we're turning a corner here, Peter. But as the game progressed, I was like, we're not turning a corner. Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy have no chemistry whatsoever through 6 games. It's like, and these are both like, Rick, Russell Wilson's a Super Bowl, being a Pro Bowler. Like, this isn't like Bailey Zappi trying to get on the same page with like Tyquan Thornton. This is Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy, 1st-round pick from Alabama. Been in all the biggest college games you could think of. A good NFL receiver, not necessarily an elite receiver, but a good receiver. And they somehow cannot even like think on the same wavelength. It's a mess down in Denver. That contractor, Russell Wilson, looks bad and bad, worse and worse by the day. He has a hamstring injury now after a shoulder injury last week. It ain't looking good in Denver, man. It ain't.
Broncos country.
Let's ride. All right, Peter, you want to let's ride with the picks?
Let's do it.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Premium pick of the week. Jason's gonna absolutely screw me. Spoiler alert. Premium pick of the week Thursday night. Cardinals -1.5 versus the Saints. Cardinals getting. I know they have Marquise Brown out for the year, but they're getting Hopkins right back. I think Kyler Murray's gonna do it, and Saints don't look right. Even if Chris Olave is gonna play, I don't think, and Michael Thomas might play, but that is what it is.
Thomas and Landry didn't practice on Tuesday.
Cool.
So
all right, I know Landry's not gonna play for sure, but cool. Yeah, premium pick of the week. Start
that's
that
a
off.
Premium. Wow.
Yep.
I'm gonna wreck that, Peter.
Yep. I know. Yep.
So Peter, I'm also gonna pick the Cardinals -1.5 against the Saints. Short week. They're at home. They get DeAndre Hopkins back. They just traded for Robbie Anderson. I know Marquise Hollywood Brown is probably not going to play from a foot injury. This is the game the Cardinals need. I think the Saints have showed that they were kind of overrated. Now they are dealing with a multitude of injuries. Of course, Jameis Winston hasn't played in 3 weeks now. Kamara missed 2 games. Michael Thomas hasn't seen the field in 3 weeks. Olave's been banged up. Jarvis Landry hasn't seen the field in a month. So the Saints are banged up, and banged up teams don't do well on Thursday Night Football. The Cardinals should win this game, and they should win this game handily.
So everybody bet the Saints +1.5 right now.
Everybody bet the money line, guy. Bet the money line.
For sure. Money line, alternate spread, one in parlays. All right, next pick. Falcons +6. Real easy. I'm going to pick them, as I said 3 weeks ago, until they lose. 6-0 versus the spread. 6-0 versus the spread.
Peter, we're thinking in the same wavelength for our first 2 picks. I also am going to take the Falcons +6.
Oh my God, you're going to be the reason why they lose.
I picked the Falcons earlier in the year and they won though, so that curse does not hold any weight. I have picked the Falcons at least once, maybe twice this year, so I'm not gonna give you that one. But this is a good spot for the Falcons. I think the Bengals, despite the fact they're playing at home, the Bengals are a little overrated. I think they're kind of in a little over their skis. I know they're coming off a nice win this past week against the Saints, but it was a close game. The Saints, who, like we just talked about, have no skill position players. The Saints were in a position to win that game, and they just didn't. And they end up losing by 4 points. And I think the Falcons, they might not win the game, but they'll compete and they'll cover. The Bengals aren't good enough to give them 6 points at home. They haven't showed me through 6 weeks that they're a good enough team to pick them.
And next pick, Pats -8 versus the Bears. This is probably going to be the worst Justin Fields game you'll ever see in your whole life. Bill Belichick is going to scheme up Justin Fields. He's going to look bad, I think.
Yeah, Peter,
They should
right
win
there,
by like
I'm
20,
right
30 points.
Right there with you. That's my premium pick of the week. Patriots
Cool. So,
-8.
nice. We're going to go
Yeah.
Queen sleep 0-10.
Clean sleep 0-10, exactly. Yeah, Patriots -8, like you said. That Bears offense is putrid, and I think that Bill Belichick, we all know what he has up his sleeve against like young quarterbacks. We saw what happened to Justin Herbert last year. We've seen what happened with guys like Jared Goff, Jacoby Brissett, and I think it's going to be real bad for Justin Fields, who has no skill position players to really bank on. All right, Peter, N'Keal Harry, over under 2.5 receptions.
Under. He's going to get 0.
Under.
I think he's going to get
one.
shot out by
one.
like Jack Jones.
He gets one.
Belichick's going to be like, yeah, if he gets 1 reception, you guys are all fired or something. Or bench.
But yeah, I love this pick, Patriots -8 premium. That's also going to be my survivor pick. So, Peter, like I did earlier, and it's worked. Survivor pick, premium pick. All in one, Patriots -8. Hopefully I can ride another week.
How many people are still left in your survivor league?
6.
You know? 6?
6.
Oh, that's nice.
I got the Packers knocked off a couple people, and I think the Bucs knocked off a couple people. So,
Okay,
well, if I didn't pick the Packers early in the year, I would have picked the Packers last week.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of the Packers, the next pick, I have Jets +3 versus the Broncos. It's more on the Broncos than the Jets. I think Sauce is going to shadow Sutton, and then Wilson, who are you going to throw to? Even if it is Wilson, I don't even know.
That's your guy, Sauce. I do think Wilson is going to try to play.
Sauce is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Is he the favorite?
I can check that while you do your own.
All right, yeah. My next pick, well, Peter looks for that. Ravens -6.5 over the Browns. The Ravens are at home. I know I talked about how the Ravens have disappointed me, but this just feels like a game where the Ravens need. And this is a game, and I think the Ravens offense can finally gel together and put together a good performance. The Browns have sputtered under Jacoby Brissett. The defense has been exposed, and I think I like the Ravens to win this big. Ravens -6.5.
So Sauce is +275. He is the favorite. I don't know why they don't put Sauce Gardner. They put whatever his first name is.
Ahmad.
And then Thibodeau is +600
from the Giants.
Yep.
All right, what's your last pick?
And my last pick is the Bucs Panthers under 40 points. Tom Brady's sputtering. As you said in the beginning of the show, it's probably going to hit the under anyway. And who's going to start at quarterback? Baker Mayfield? No. Sam Darnold? No. PJ Walker? I have no idea. Sam Howell or whatever his name is. Sam Ellinger.
No, it's Matt Corral. No.
Matt
Corral.
Matt Corral. Yeah. So
the Panthers are technically going to be on their 5th string quarterback. If you want to go from like the training camp point of view, because they had Baker Mayfield was quarterback 1, Sam Darnold quarterback 2. Then it was Matt Corral who got hurt in the preseason. Then it was PJ Walker, and now it's, I believe, Jacob Eason is quarterback 5.
Yeah. So there you go.
Formerly of the Colts. Yeah, Jacob Eason. So he could be under center. So yeah, yak. My last pick is going to be the Titans -2.5. They're in a game against the Colts, coming off of a bye week. I like this Titans team. I'm still not on board for this Colts team yet. I still think they're overrated, despite the fact they had a nice win against the Jaguars. Titans are at home. Good spot for Mike Vrabel and crew after a bye, who I slowly put things together offensively. Slowly. The Titans win this game. They're 4-2. I like them here. -2.5.
Oh, very good. So not
Those are our
0-10.
picks.
We're not all similar.
We will not go 0-10, so we'll see. I mean, I feel half decent about this board. We'll see. I didn't feel great last week, and the results reflected that for me anyway. So we'll see. Peter, you want to switch gears to baseball?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it up. So, Peter, we have some clarity about the AL and NLDS. Specifically, let's start on the National League side of things, because that's already a foregone conclusion. The San Diego Padres, Philadelphia Phillies, 2 teams that were underdogs in every series they've been in terms of the playoffs, and they're in a situation where one of them is going to go to the World Series. Which playoff run has been more impressive in your mind, the Phillies or the Padres?
I think it's the Phillies because I think the Padres have more stars. The Phillies obviously have Kyle Schwarber and freaking Bryce Harper, but Padres have a ton of people even without Tatis, but he's been out the whole year, so that doesn't really count. I think Phillies are a team of destiny. They're using the Red Sox championship song of last
Pixie
year,
dust.
so yeah, they might have the thing. And Kyle
Yeah.
Schwarber 2 years in a row on the CS. So I'm gonna pick the Phillies in 7 games, but I will not have a problem on either of them. And Dodgers, good job spending all that money for just to get knocked out of the Padres. It is what it
Awful.
is.
That's why I'm going to disagree. I'm going to take the Padres having a more impressive run for the sole fact of who they faced. They played the Mets on the road. We all make fun of the Mets. We've done that for the last month, but they took care of business against Jake DeGrom and Max Scherzer, getting into that stage and then facing the best team in baseball, the unequivocally number one favorites in baseball. The Dodgers won 111 games this past year, and to blank them in 4 games, not even 5, I think that speaks volume about how good this Padres team is, who, of course, Peter, you already mentioned, is missing Fernando Tatis. So the Dodgers, of course, monumental disappointment, arguably the biggest disappointment in baseball. I think to me, that might be a bigger failure than the Mets.
They might be the Lakers at 2.0. I mean, in championship they've won in the last whatever is the COVID year. So
yeah, tell you what, that's bad. This Dodgers team, you look at the roster up and down, it's stacked. And of course, Mookie Betts, Trey Turner,
they got a
Freeman.
lot of. I mean, we'll probably get into it later, but they got a lot of question marks. They got to re-sign Kershaw. They got to re-sign Trey Turner. They got to
maybe a guy like Shohei Ohtani is in their future, or Jake DeGrom. Who knows? Who knows? And the Dodgers, I think, are not going anywhere. They're still going to win a lot of games, and the general manager Friedman over there, he knows what he's doing. They're going to be they're a good team, and they have underachieved. And I think Dave Roberts should be held a little bit responsible for that as well. But yeah,
hey, 111 wins is 111 wins.
Oh, it is, but you can't lose.
No, I know.
You got to at least make the NLCS. You have to. You can't lose the division rival Padres. Undermanned, you just can't do it. It's just in the series, Peter. I'm going to take the Padres in 6. I think the Phillies' magic, unfortunately, ends. I tell you what, in the series, I'm rooting for the Phillies. I am. Like I told you before we started recording, I'm not a big Philadelphia sports fan, but this Phillies team, they have some moxie. They play hard. They don't necessarily. They're not very flashy, but they get the job done. And who would have ever imagined after they fired Joe Girardi earlier in the year that this would be their outcome, because Kyle Schwarber has been awesome. I think he was second in the MLB in home runs this year. Harper, they play hard, they celebrate. I like this Phillies team a lot, but I think it falls short ultimately. American League side of things, Peter. So the Astros, they coasted. They are in the ALCS, and the Yankees, who Peter, full disclosure, as we record this, is the middle of the 7th inning right now. The Yankees are up 5-1 over the Cleveland Guardians. If the score holds, the Yankees will advance to the ALCS to take on the Astros for, I believe, their 3rd matchup in the last 5 years. And if for whatever reason the Guardians win, the Guardians will match up against the Astros, and it would be an epic comeback against the Yankees here. So, Peter, for the sake of, our our situation, the Yankees, let's say the Yankees end up holding on to win, right? Yankees, Astros, who do you like in that matchup and why?
So I like the Astros in 7. I think the Astros have a deeper lineup and deeper bullpen and deeper pitching rotation. And the Yankees have to play tomorrow, regardless. So Astros had 3-4 days of rest, and Yankees / Guardians are just gonna have to get right back to it. But good on the Yankees winning.
What if the Guardians come back and win?
I mean, and Astros in 5, maybe. But that's all we wanted. Yankees, Astros, and ALCS. Everybody was calling for it.
Yeah,
so it's good to see.
Of course, the Yankees are still bitter, of course, from the whole cheating scandal with the Astros. So the Yankees have been waiting for this moment. But I'm gonna go Astros in 5. I think the Astros are an absolute wagon.
5.
Astros in 5.
Respect than that.
I don't. I think the Yankees should have swept this Guardians team. And I don't know if the Yankees have the horses on the mound. Feels like they have 2 pitchers. And I'm just not. I tell you what, this series is alarming, Peter. They were down 2-1 against the Guardians, and Peter, you could argue that if the game was not rained out on Tuesday, that the Yankees might have lost that game.
And it's an ultimate joke on the NMLB. I know it's not Game 7, but it kind of is Game 7 because it's Game 5. It started at 4 o'clock instead of 7:30, 8 o'clock.
I thought the same thing. On Twitter, everyone was like, "Oh, there's empty seats." I'm like, "Yeah, it's 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. What do you expect?"
Yeah, people are doing stuff.
It's gonna work. Sorry,
or school, like whatever. Like
Yeah, like no surprise.
MLB should be
whatsoever.
fired. So,
Like, tell you what, Nestor Cortez, I think he's legit. I also think Garrett Cole is legit. But other than that, I have some questions, especially about that Yankees bullpen. And I think this Astros team is just on another level right now. I like the Astros. We will see if our I guess we both have the Astros and I have the Dodgers and I have the Padres, you have the Phillies. So we will see who
well,
ends
no,
up in the
next
World
week.
Series. Yeah. All right, Peter, let's conclude the show with our weekly news segment, which still is unnamed. Again, if you have any potential name ideas, send them through. 5 questions not about football, Peter. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, Peter. Question 1. If you could own any social media platform, what would you pick?
Can I cheat and say Meta because they own Instagram,
No,
Facebook?
that's cheating. You can't pick that one.
All right, Twitter, because that's what I use for the news. That's probably what you use for the news.
Yeah, I agree. Twitter is my choice as well.
Mine is
All right.
Meta though. That's such a good answer.
Yeah, that was a great answer. That was a 10 out of 10 answer. Question 2. The NHL season just started. The Bruins are on a tear, Peter. An absolute tear offensively. Are the Bruins for real, Peter?
No, because their first month of the schedule is an absolute joke. So
So you're not
they'll be
buying in.
yeah, they'll be like 12-3, 12-2 beginning of the year.
Okay,
3-0.
so
3-0, but
slow down the duck boats.
yeah.
Okay. Question 3. What is your favorite seafood?
Oh, shrimp's really good.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
I would
probably
like
say that too.
I would say lobster, but it's way too much work to actually peel it if you get it in a shell. I never get it anywhere, just for that reason.
Tell you what, I was upset with myself. Sunday, for the tailgate here, I had an opportunity to get lobster, and I kind of waited till the end of the game, and I
Oh,
turned my
you
head, and they were all gone. I bugged.
uh,
I bugged.
I
All
was
right, question.
sad that you had a pig. That's my dream to have one of those.
Oh yeah, yeah. But that was there last year. You saw that.
Oh,
Hey, you bugged last year, I guess too.
all right. Damn.
Good question 4.
I was too poisoned by the stupid pepper thing.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what? Ironically enough, the individual that gave you the pepper, he came back up and asked where you were. Asked where my buddy was, and I was like, he's not here.
You wanted to kill me again.
Question 4. How much money would you give David Pastrnak? What would your ideal contract be?
All right. Marchand got 8 million. I'll give him 9.5.
Do you think he takes that?
Yeah, because I think no, because he hasn't re-signed yet. No, I think it's gonna be.
I think
like
he wants
11
like 11. Yeah, I think he wants.
I think
11.
it's gonna be 11 or 12.
I think he wants like 8 years, 88 million, something like that. That's my.
They're gonna
guess.
give it to
I think
him,
it's
I think,
11.
too.
Oh yeah, yeah. They have no choice. They absolutely will, in my opinion. All right, Peter. Question 5, and for the final question, what is the most overrated streaming service?
Hulu. You ever look up Hulu?
I have
It's-
Hulu. And the ads are annoying.
It is all right, but I know ads. First of all, second of all, it's never updated. Like, what do you watch it on? Watch on it.
I'm trying to think what I watched on Hulu.
Like,
Hmm.
I watched Shark Tank.
There was something I watched on Hulu. I forgot what it was.
Shout out to TJ the Bachelor, Bachelorette.
Oh, that's
speaking
that on
of
Hulu.
speaking of the Bachelorette. All right, I know you love Victoria as much as I do.
I know.
She's
I
on the
heard.
new season
I
of
know.
Bachelor. Yeah.
I follow her on the gram. I'm aware. You let me know if she wins.
All right.
And
But-
yeah, Hulu's a good answer. I would say the Paramount as a Paramount Plus.
Oh, I don't have that. So.
Yeah, no one has that. What's the one with like Discovery Channel? That's another one that kind of sucks.
Oh yeah.
So I would say those two.
I would say
But,
Disney Plus, but we're Marvel and Star Wars people.
Yeah, that's
That would be the answer if we weren't Marvel and Star Wars people.
100%. Like my dad says the same thing. He's like, I have Disney Plus, like all that, and he's like, you know what, like all this stuff is younger demographic or Marvel, Star Wars. I was like, yeah, that's the thing. If you don't like Marvel or Star Wars, like it's really not for you. But it makes a ton of money, of course, and it's absolutely taken some of Netflix's profit. So,
For sure.
all right, Peter, that was another fun edition of 5 questions. But as we conclude the show, be sure to check out our NBA preview with Brandon Carr and Noah Byrne of Roughing the Basket. A lot of fun. We broke down the NBA season, which I know just got underway a few days ago. We gave our MVP picks. You can put those bets in before the NBA gets too far in, you know. And we talked about who's going to make the finals, bold predictions. We talked about all that fun stuff, Peter. It was a good show. And check that out if you're a fan of the NBA or a fan of basketball in general.
And one last thing, again, fire Matt. But we love you.
Fire Matt.
Stay hot.